We are going to try to keep things quick today, but we're going to talk a little bit about consistency and how that is so important. And then a few little tips from Mari Smith, which was one of the Platinum Edge present. She did one of the presentations, and she's just awesome. Ashley, do you know who Mari Smith is? So she's actually a social media guru, and if you search her, Mari, she pops up everywhere, and she is just phenomenal. So they paid big bucks for her to come to Platinum Edge. She was actually the keynote, and so just some really sweet, good stuff from her. So I want to talk a little bit about that too, but. So mainly for as far as consistency goes, I was just thinking about this because I have kind of been in a little bit of a funk in my mind. And so I'm like, this is a good topic to talk about right now because there are so many things that are going to take precedence over consistency in our business right now. And I think some of us can think, well, but family is the most important right now, or whatever, work is the most important right now, or, whatever it is that we are putting precedence over our business. It's really easy this time of the year to start doing that because it's the end of the year and we think, well, what else can we do to make anything different? Or there's just so many negative vibes, I feel like, in the business right now. And the world is going against us. And so I was just thinking of like, okay, Chanel, why is your head in a funk right now? Why are you having trouble? And maybe we can talk this through with the team because I think we're all probably feeling a little bit of it. But honestly, I know the exact reason why I am, and it's because I let go of some consistency in my own life that I know makes a difference for me every day. And I'll tell you what that is for me. I've been getting up and writing my devotion daily, and usually I show proof of that every morning on Facebook. That's like my first post, consistent. My other thing is fitness. Well, you guys know me. It's got to be hell freeze over before I not get my fitness in, right? But people expect that. So I hope that you guys are developing that consistency for yourself as well. And Mari actually talks about that, of how you want people to expect these things from you and be like, what's up? Like, you hadn't posted your fitness in 3 days. What is going on, Ashley? So we want that. But for me, what has been the biggest difference for me is these new positive affirmations and declarations that I have been speaking over my life, and I have been very consistent about opening my app and speaking those positive words, and I haven't been doing that. I have not taken the couple of seconds to thank God for the things that are happening now, to thank Him for the things that I need to happen. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys because I can feel I'm off. Even my relationship with my husband is off right now. But I believe it's because when I'm not declaring, thank God for you allowing that my relationship is strong right now. Even though I don't feel that, I'm thanking God because I know that's what He wants. And in the business, God, thank you for keeping this fire going in me through this month. Even though we don't feel it, if we're verbally saying, thank you for helping me keep this vibe alive. Because if we don't, you know what Satan has done? He has been literally sitting on my shoulders. I am giving him a piggyback. Can you visualize Chanel giving Satan a piggyback? Because that's exactly what I feel right now. I feel like I am carrying him around with me everywhere I go, and he's just taunting me and trying to keep me down. And I believe that it's been heavier since I shared my vision with everyone at our Christmas party, because I'm I want y'all to know, I'm ready to have you come stay in a cabin with me. I'm ready to have live T25 workout with my girls at my ranch. I believe Satan is oh no, sister, you think that's going to happen? He has just been on me and making me doubt and all that crazy stuff. And so whatever it is in your routine that you have found to keep you grounded and keep you positive, that's why this consistency is so important, because if we take a little piece of it out, we get derailed. And Satan is waiting for us to do that. And so if anything, consistency in our business means taking care of yourself first. And that is what I want to lead with for everything in our business. It's not, you know, if we're taking care of ourselves, we have more confidence to invite people to do what we do. And so if we are not literally taking care of our mind, taking care of our heart, our spirit, and getting that where it needs to get, so that we have this crazy, weird confidence and that we think people are foolish to not join us, then we're doing something wrong. We're missing something. And so make sure that you're taking care of yourself, mind, body, your heart first. And then, of course, you got to get your fitness in. We all, if we're in this business, we have to get that in, because basically it's being obedient. Yes, we have these amazing programs, but even if you weren't part of the Beachbody family, you still need to be taking care of yourself. So this is not me just being crazy and say, like, you need to be doing it anyways. So thankfully you're on my tribe, and like all of you, do amazing. So I don't even need to be telling you that. But then, so your faith, and then our food part, like, consistency with that is how we get results. And I think, Ashley, you of all people know this, because you committed to Core de Force and you've been hardcore, and your meal prep, your planning, your pictures, like everything has been evident. And then bam, you showed your results, and it's like, oh my gosh. So I think that this is the hardest time of the year. And in all honesty, I think sometimes it's almost like, well, it's this time of the year, like there's parties and people bring gifts and treats to the hospital, like just indulge. But I think that just that little extra, no, I don't need that right now, and kindly tell people no, I think just ever more exemplifies our commitment and our consistency to what we're doing. And so just those are just some simple things, but I think the number one is please take care of yourself. If we're not taking care of our mind and our heart, then like I have felt so off that I felt weird inviting someone to join me. And I know sometimes we just have to power through and just do it, but I feel like they can feel my vibe. And so if we're not doing what we need to do, it's so hard to invite, because I'm like, why the heck would they want to join me? Well, I know why. I have an amazing thing for them. Like, that's the truth. But if I'm not telling myself in those positive affirmations, so if you have not gotten on Terry Seville's podcast, or if you're interested in a new book for the new year, I highly recommend her book, Pep Talk. She talks about stories. She just gives the positive vibe of reassuring us that the Bible says that we deserve greatness, that God wants greatness for us, and that greatness comes with abiding in Him. And then He does some really awesome, cool things, and it may not be exactly what we want, but it's going to be better. But we're not ever going to get there unless we truly like lead with bettering our heart and our mind. Okay, now on to Mari Smith. Oh, and one more thing about consistency I want to say is that people notice. That is like probably the number one business part of this. Taking care of yourself is the number one thing, but the number two thing is our business. And when we don't get a lot of yeses, or things don't feel like it's flowing well, it's probably because we're not present. It's probably because we're not doing the things that we should be doing. And so when I've always taught you guys, just pick 3 things, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that with Mari in just a second, but what are you known for? What can you offer people? And I think sometimes we're scared of that, because we're like, I'm not an expert, I'm not this or that. But if you're working on yourself, that is one thing you're good at. Think about that. If you're working on yourself, if you're doing something daily for yourself, your personal development, who else does personal development? Hardly anybody. That you are an expert in that. And so that's why I say, if we're leading with ourselves, we're a constant learner. That's when we become an expert. That's when we become someone that people need. So I think that's just an interesting way to look at it. But the biggest thing there is that people are watching you, and if you don't show up for a full day, unfortunately, it decreases credibility from some people. It just does. They're like, oh, well, I thought she was like serious, but I guess not. And I don't think people are gonna like be rude about that, but I think in the back of their mind, if they're watching you and they're considering joining what you're doing, and you post only every other day, well, in my opinion, it decreases the credibility. And every other social media person has told us this. We know this. So just make sure we're consistent. And if you're consistent with your faith, food, and fitness, your body changes, your life changes. So it's the same concept with our business. Okay, so on to Mari. So she talked about, she's our social media guru. Look her up, Mari Smith, Mari Smith. But she's just really positive and just really great. And she actually has a Beachbody coach, and she gave her props because she does home fitness now and loves it. She loves PiYo, and she drinks Shakeology. So I thought that was really bizarre because most of them don't, right? She's like nationally known. I mean, she's nationally known. So I thought it was really neat how she was just like, I get what you do because I've been invited to a challenge group and I'm in love with home fitness too. So it was really cool. But her biggest thing was, how do you consistently attract quality targeted leads? So if we're growing a business, who in the heck does not want to consistently attract the right people to our business? Well, we all do. And so she gave a couple of tips on this. And she says the way you do that, number one, is become an attraction marketer superstar. You have to become a superstar in attracting people. And the way you do that is just some different tips that she gave. But her number one tip was lead with your personal brand or position. And I think branding is so hard for all of us. And I finally know, like, my brand is Medical Mamas, period. And I didn't fight it, but I was just scared to lead only with that because I felt like there was a lot of people who weren't that, who still followed me and even supported me. But in reality, if I bring them onto my challenge groups or I bring them in and help them, I don't relate to them. I just don't. And so I think I was afraid that I might lose a few challenge points because those people aren't ordering from me anymore or whatever. But at the end of the day, we have to have a personal brand. And she's like, don't lead with the product. And then she says, what is different about you? We have to know these things. Like, what specifically is different about you? Well, for me, that's different is that I'm medical, I'm a mama, and I lead with my faith. There has to be something very, very unique and specific about you with this. You have to develop, basically through your post, people have to know, like, and trust you. That's how you lead with your personal brand. Your branding about you has to be likable. It has to be a way for them to get to know you without ever even meeting you. And then they have to be able to trust you. And that's where this being vulnerable, and I think that's where live video and those types of things, that's why they suggest that, because there's something about voice and there's something about being vulnerable with your personal struggles that truly makes someone know, like, and trust you. And she says when they know you, when they like you, when they trust you, you are attracting them, and then you're going to convert them. And that's her biggest theory. The other biggest thing is, what problem are you trying to solve, or do you need to solve? So I think I want to stop for just a second and I'll make sure you write this down. What problem do you need to solve with your people? And I think that if our audience is too big, we can't answer that question. But if our audience is really small, like for me, medical mamas, what do they need? What problem do I need to solve for them? What is it? And this is where she talks about, I am the go-to expert in blank. I am the go-to expert in blank. And I think for me, just thinking about that, like that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard. I think, well, I am the expert in making my health a priority and figuring it out with working 2 jobs. I'm the expert in it, like how to keep track of my nutrition. So those are the things that my people need. Like, as a medical mom, how in the heck do you juggle making your health a priority? And these are the things that I share. That's why I share my post first thing in the morning. I try so hard to, because for a medical mama to make this lifestyle switch, they have to get their butt out of bed. They have to. There is no, in my opinion, there is absolutely no other way for them to make a lifestyle change and to get their family involved until they are making that sacrifice themselves. And if we don't get up in the morning, it ain't going to happen. Like, it is just not going to happen. And so for me, that's why I like to post about that. Like, literally, when I'm doing it at 6 a.m., I want them to know, if you do want to make some changes, this is what it's going to take. That extra 30 minutes, you've got to get up. So what are you the go-to person in? What are you the go-to person in? And of course, your vibe attracts your tribe. So whatever that means, like for us, we're busy. We're busy, busy, busy. So we're going to attract other busy people, and we're the expert in trying to help them not really balance. I don't like to use that word anymore. I know that's crazy because I think we all crave balance. But the last book I read was like, sister, if you're in Jesus, you can't have balance, because that means you're trying to do it all on your own and you're not allowing the Lord to do stuff in your life. And so I think that's really, really true. But I think we're all craving this, like, we call it balance. Like, we want to be able to be healthy. We want to be able to go to work. We want to be able to make money. We want to be able to do all these things, and it's just hard. So she says, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. Be a specialist, not a generalist. Super, super important. And then to tie it all together, her big and bold letters I wrote out. You don't find willpower. You're not born with discipline. You create it. And I love that because I've had that objection so many times. You're just more disciplined than I am. Oh no. Like, I just made a decision and I have people on my team that are depending on me, and I want to show up for my team. I want to show up for my family. I made a decision. And I think for the longest time, I even would say, yes, I am disciplined. And I would say that is something I am, but it's something I've created. It's something that I decided I was going to do and be. I didn't let excuses get in the way. And that was from a long, long time ago, of kind of a little bullheaded and stubborn and like, nope, I'm going to do this. But that's created. It's a decision. And so for our business and being consistent in your business and being a rock star and attracting people, basically we have to be a learner and we have to find willpower. We have to create that willpower in ourselves to be determined to attract the right kind of people and be determined to be consistent and be determined to be successful. It's about creating the consistency, creating the willpower, and doing it. So that wraps it all up in a nutshell. I love that. You don't find willpower. You don't find discipline. You create it. Man, that's powerful. That's a truth bomb. That's like something that's I know we need to put on our social media, like in bold letters. You don't find willpower, you don't find discipline, you create it. It's just so powerful. And that's it. That wraps it up. So any questions about any of the stuff? I know I flew through Mari's things, and basically I was just going through all of the highlighted stuff that she talked about. But is there anything that I can help with as far as what problems, what are you a go-to at? I know once you identify those and you like reason with them and believe in yourself, because I think that we can all say we're an expert, but truly believing that so much that we're leading with that stuff and being like, I got what you need. I have what you need. Do what I'm doing, and I can help change your life. Until we have that kind of bold confidence, we can write it down all day. But I think the first step is identifying what it is, and then literally doing these declarations every day, saying, thank you, God, for giving me the discipline and the courage to tell people this is what they need, to be courageous and be bold. But we got to figure out what it is first. So, and Ashley, do you have any questions about any of that at all?
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. And
okay, I think so too. I mean, she hit home on a lot of her stuff. For me, I was like, okay, like, yeah, let me be just as disciplined in my business as I am in my workouts, and like things will be great. I mean, it's so true. I mean, and I'm telling you, like, this is just, I'm your coach and your leader, and if I can just be as disciplined with the business activities as I am with my fitness every day, there is no doubt things would be different, like they just would. And so I hope that's an encouragement to you guys, because it's so true. We just got to create that discipline in our life. So, okay, well, that's it. I'm done, and I just want to make sure, Ashley, there's nothing else. I'm going to stop the live video.